You're listening to Zoned Out, the Twilight Zone, revisited with Joe and Freddy.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Freddy. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I was telling Joe, just a little behind the scenes here. I've had the hell of a morning. It's early for me. And I already had to fix a broken computer monitor. And then we tried to record this episode once, and I had a catastrophic connection failure that I had to fix. So we're back. So we're talking about the trouble with Templeton. Trouble's a good word for this episode, right?
Yeah, my girlfriend was doing her hair, like the hair dryer in the background anyway. So it's like, there's all kinds of issues with that. So anyway.
And Amy, my wife, was in the shower on the other side of the wall here. So
yeah. So we're good. We're good.
So the trouble with Templeton, this is the second shot on tape episode. Although we were discussing, it looks a lot better than the last week's. Air date, December 9, 1960. This is the second of 9 episodes directed by Buzz Kulik. And we've already covered King 9 Will Not Return. If you want to hear more about him, that's a good episode to listen to. He directed 9 episodes, some of the all-time greats, in particular, 100 Yards Over the Rim. On Thursday, We Leave for Home, I really like, but it's stated in an interview on the Blu-ray that this was his absolute favorite directing job of all of his directing jobs. So he's very proud of it. And should be. It's a good episode. Written by E. Jack Newman. Newman wrote for radio shows like On Stage, Yours Truly, and my wife Amy's favorite old-time radio show, Johnny Dollar.
Johnny Dollar.
Which isn't too far off of the vibe. It's very noirish. But he's an insurance investigator, and Joe and I were kind of laughing about
How do you make insurance investigations sexy? I don't know.
Right. You know what? In the Mouth of Madness did a pretty good job with it.
Oh, did they?
He was an insurance investigator, Sam Neill's character.
Oh, gotcha.
They insured the author, Sutter Kane, and then he disappeared, so we had to find him.
Interesting.
Yeah. So E. Jack Newman, again, Johnny Dollar, but he also wrote for Gunsmoke, which was one of the biggest series of the time. Another thing you missed was we were talking about Rod Serling had created his own Western series called The Loner with Lloyd Bridges starring. And you can watch that whole series on YouTube. I watched the pilot. It's very good. Joe thought Lloyd Bridges might still be alive, which was really funny.
It would be 120 or 130.
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
Pretty old.
We're
like, did he retire from acting? Yes, he did.
yes, probably 40 years ago.
Permanently. So I was saying before in a very rambly way, but now hopefully I can say this more concise. I think the settings, which there's only really 3, which is Booth's mansion, the pool, which you only see from the window of the mansion, the Savoy Theater where he works, you see a 1927 and a 1960 version of that, and the alley behind it, which is clearly like a backlot looking space. And then the speakeasy, Freddy's speakeasy. Freddy's speakeasy. So I think the tight lighting control made a big difference. I don't know why they didn't achieve this last time with the lateness of the hour, but George Clemens was not credited on that episode, which is weird because he was for pretty much every other episode of the Twilight Zone that I know of. So it feels much more like the other episodes, quality-wise.
Yeah. It looks just like film to me. The idea that this is digital or captured on video is I don't know. I'll have to watch it again because it looked. I was like, oh, they switched back to film for some reason. Just like
I had to Google it because I didn't trust my eyes. I was like, I looked at IMDb, and IMDb I think has it wrong. I think they still list it. I think somebody just blanketed the whole series with the same tech specs for how it was filmed, and it still has like 35 millimeter spherical lenses and all that. But if you go to Google and you really look, it's one of the 6 episodes shot on tape. So
interesting.
So yeah, I'm too lazy to send IMDb a thing and be like, I think this is wrong. You should correct it. But you can do that if you're a real stickler and a huge nerd. They do let you do that.
And you might be if you're listening to this show. A big stickler and a huge nerd, but that's okay. We love you anyway. That's why we're here. That's who we are.
I used to post IMDb pages like whenever we would do reviews of like, advanced screenings. You could post where you're the critic, reviews and stuff. And I'm like, why am I doing all this work? But anyways, this cast is maybe the largest of the entire series, 21. I'm not sure that.
Wow.
I think that a lot of that's due to both the theater scene and the speakeasy scene being so populated.
Yeah.
So you have Booth Templeton. He's our main character in this story, aging widowed actor, stage actor. This is Brian Ahern. He was an Oscar-nominated actor. He's known for his work from the 30s to the 50s mostly. So this is more towards the end of his career, appropriately enough. He began his career in England and then later moved to Hollywood. And then he got nominated for an Academy Award in Juarez, the movie Juarez. So
Okay.
pretty cool. Marty Templeton's butler, who's in a very brief moment of this, though, that's Dave Willick, who's a character actor, and he usually plays like nice guys and fun neighbors and hardworking men. He's in all kinds of film and TV shows.
That kind of a working man face. He kind of reminded me of I can't remember which Adam Sandler movie it is, where the antagonist, like Shooter McGavin, kind of gave me those vibes. You know,
I love Shooter McGavin. He's like the prickish version of Dave Willick, because that actor. Why is it? It's not Bradley Whitford. It's of the Bradley Whitford type who played Shooter McGavin. It should be on the tip of my tongue because that new movie came out not that long ago, and he was doing all kinds of press junkets for it. But
Christopher McDonald.
That's it. Thank you very much. It was eating at me.
The internet's an amazing thing.
So Dave Willick, he the cool thing about his career is he worked with as a director Jerry Lewis, Robert Aldrich, and Walt Disney. So and then he appeared in a bunch of cult TV. So he's all over our childhood. Sid Sperry, the financier of the play The Angry Lovers, which is the new play that he's making in the 1960s setting. First of two appearances by King Calder, which is a cool ass name.
Yeah.
He's going to return in season 4 for Valley of the Shadow. And he appeared in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Alfred Hitchcock Hour, and One Step Beyond. So he's like a TV genre cred out the butt.
I love that name. One Step Beyond.
Did you watch One Step Beyond?
No, I just loved. There was I think there was a pop music song at one point that used that as one of their like chorus lines, and I was like, oh, that's so awesome.
It's not a great show, but it's like, I mean, compared to Twilight Zone, it's not. It's okay. I'm a slut for anthology TV.
Yeah.
So I've seen more than most people, like even some of the really bad stuff. And I'm hoping that whenever we run out of Twilight Zone and Sterling stuff, that maybe we'll still be alive and we can get into like some of the other stuff. There's a lot of series for fans of Twilight Zone out there. It's just we're finally seeing them because of the international. We're getting things that were popular in the 70s and 80s overseas that just weren't on TV here. But
sure,
all in the same vein as Twilight Zone.
Right.
Yeah, so Arthur Willis. This is maybe the most famous member of the cast, Sidney Pollack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a boy genius director in this.
Boy, they keep saying it, boy genius, boy genius.
So
like, wow.
They have to contrast him with the old man. You know, Booth is the old man and he's the young guy. Although, honestly, he doesn't look that young. He looks maybe 1960 young.
Yeah, it's like Andy always say, it's like young people look old even then, and he was probably in his like 30s or 40s or something. Who knows?
It seems like it.
He's this young upstart. He's 30.
On the off chance you don't know who Sidney Pollack is, when we were growing up, he was the hot shit director. He Academy Award winner, a producer, actor, obviously writer. He produced over 40 films, but like he worked with Robert Redford a lot. But Out of Africa was like a huge deal for us. Meryl Streep and Robert Redford, right? And that was like the big spectacle picture that year. He also worked on Tootsie, which is a fun comedy. So he can do both.
Wonder how that holds up. I haven't watched that forever.
Me too. They do it as a musical now on Broadway.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. The movie is really good if I remember right. But Sidney Pollack passed away in 2008 from cancer. So you can catch up on his entire oeuvre now. He won't be making any new stuff. He's with gone to be with his ancestors. It sounds like he's doing an accent in this role. And he is.
Oh, yeah.
And the story behind it's kind of funny because he's from New York City via Indiana. So there's no reason he should be doing this almost Cajun level of drawl. The director said that was based on a director that both the director Kulik and Sidney Pollack, the actor playing him, really hated his guts. And
oh, really?
So they were making fun of him.
Oh.
So they said he would do a fake like mid-Atlantic or regional, New York accent. And then as he would get upset with his actors, the country would start slipping in and he would have this bizarre accent that was like a blend of the two.
So his real accent was this, or his like unconscious
country.
accent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were insinuating that he was a country bumpkin, and he was trying to hide it.
Was there like a big name behind that, or that it was that they were talking about?
They never said. It was just a director, and I think it might have been a stage director. So it's probably,
I just saw the Arthur. I thought Arthur, and I was like, is it a reference to Arthur Miller or something? But I don't know.
Oh, that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it would be Arthur Miller. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he wrote stuff, but I don't know if he ever directed stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Enough about Arthur Miller. Anyway.
I know he's married to Marilyn Monroe, and I know he wrote Death of a Salesman and The Crucible. That's all I know.
That's right. There we go.
Freddy, the speakeasy proprietor. Larry J. Blake. This guy, also an oldie but a goodie, born in Brooklyn in 1914. So he wasn't too terribly old at the time of this recording, and I doubt he's still alive. He might be still alive and acting. Him and Lloyd Bridges are doing buddy comedies at 112.
Hey. Yeah.
This guy was a vaudeville actor, and then he became a Universal Studios contract player, which, if you don't know, just means that it's like getting tenure as an actor. You're going to get a bunch of set roles. You're not going to know what they are necessarily. You show up to work, and that was this guy. After serving in World War II, he was an alcoholic, and he kind of beat it. So then he came back from, I guess he was probably dealing with the traumas of World War II. When he came home, he stopped drinking and he started appearing in some of the best films, Sunset Boulevard, High Noon. He was on a bunch of TV shows, and then he passed away in 1982. But he was the first actor to appear in an American film as Adolf Hitler. So that was in The Road Back, 1937, which I think is the sequel to what is it? You read it in school. And they made All Quiet on the Western Front. Jesus. Took me a minute.
Gotcha.
So I think The Road Back is about that. It's the sequel to that. But anyways, he plays Hitler in that. He's probably best remembered as playing the policeman in the Earth versus the Flying Saucer movie, where he gets zapped and then chucked out of the vehicle. Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny. I love like just these tiny little bit spots that people will definitively remember from a movie. Is like that one scene from that one part where he was the cop. Oh, okay.
Like the janitor from Scrubs and The Fugitive, where he's on the train. Did you ever see that scene?
I haven't seen The Fugitive, which is bad, but
it's so good. Did you watch Scrubs at all?
A little bit here and there. I knew the guy you're talking about.
So who was also in The Middle. He played the dad, but he was in The Fugitive. The actor was, and they worked it into Scrubs as if it was the janitor in The Fugitive. And he just didn't tell anybody about it that he was in the movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's really fun.
That's really great. So
they show his clip. So Laura Templeton, this is Booth's deceased wife. He has when we get to Joe's synopsis, you'll see he has a new wife. This is Pippa Scott, daughter of actress Laura Straub and screenwriter Alan Scott. She was from Broadway. She was also in The Searchers and Auntie Mame. And then she ended up going to television and kind of finishing her career out there. She was more of an activist than an entertainer, so she did a lot of humanitarian work. And she was part of the founding of the International Monitor Institute and Linden Productions, which they made documentaries about international conflicts and human rights violations.
Wow.
So she went on to have a pretty important career. helping others. Barney Pfluger, Templeton's deceased friend, former director, I think. This is just one of 9 TV credits for Charles Carlson, the actor, and then he just quit acting in 1967. So clearly it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Eddie, there's a Freddy and an Eddie. This is Eddie, David Thursby. I knew this guy's face from The Adventures of Robin Hood, as in the old, I think, was it Errol Flynn? I can't remember.
Yeah. Hello there, or whatever.
Hello there.
Maybe I'm going to Obi-Wan.
So I knew his face from that, but also we just watched The Invisible Man Returns for our Vincent Price month. Price-A-Roni. And he's in that too, The Invisible Man Returns. So
wow.
So that was pretty fun to see him turn up again. It brings these older era actors to life when you see them in a couple of different things within a short period of time. You're like, oh, that's right. They're actors just like now. And then Joe's about to get into the meat, but I just wanted to say that the swimming pool that you see out of the window is going to come back in Queen of the Nile and the Bewitching Pool, which is the very last episode of the series.
Oh wow! I didn't realize that it's the same pool in all those episodes.
Yeah, was that 3 episodes it was in? I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. And
interesting.
Yeah, they were good at reusing sets.
Yeah.
Right. So I need a smaller piece of paper. Joe, do you want to get into it?
Yes. Let's get into it. So we start out and we are looking at this older gentleman kind of getting dressed, kind of prepped in the morning or the day, and kind of standing there, and then looks out the window and you see him. He's talking to his butler. I'm assuming it's his butler, who's the Shooter McGavin type guy, and he's looking out the window and sees a woman who, I guess you find out later or pretty quickly through their dialogue that that's his new wife or his wife, that he's not, she's clearly flirting and like hardcore, not really flirting, like
they're touching each other.
Pushing this guy in the pool, and then he's climbing out and put his arm around her, and he's like, oh, yep. He's like, I'm an older man who marries a younger woman, and when you do that, you get exactly what you deserve, or whatever. It's like, whoa. So
he doesn't have a lot of self-respect.
No, well, and I think he's just kind of down on himself, and he's kind of got that downcast thing, and of course he's a theater actor, so he's gonna be dramatic. Where are my theater kids at? You know what I'm talking about. As a former theater kid, so he's talking about this, and he's relating, kind of reflecting back on what it's like to be an actor. I'm going to go to the performance, and I'm going to do the rehearsal, and then I'm going to do the show. And after I do the show, everyone's going to say, you were brilliant, you were wonderful. And then I'm going to get handed off to you, my butler, who's going to give me a ride home, and I'm going to go to sleep, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to do the same thing the next day. And he's just kind of like, he's in this malaise, and he's reflecting that he misses his younger, when he was younger, and his first wife, Laura. He has this very nostalgic view of her. And I think they do the voiceover pretty early on, and I passed over that as I'm introducing this. So they start with pleased to present for your consideration, Mr. Booth Templeton, serious and successful star of over 30 Broadway plays, who is not quite all right today. Yesterday and its memories is what he wants, and yesterday is what he'll get. Soon his years and his troubles will descend on him in an avalanche. In order not to be crushed, Mr. Booth Templeton will escape from his theater and his world and make his debut on another stage in another world that we call the Twilight Zone.
Dun, dun, dun. Do you feel like this might have been the beginning of the seed of those stories where you have an Earthling actor go and perform for a bunch of aliens? because he's like, oh, he's going to be performing in the Twilight Zone. It might just be like Kang and Kodo sitting in the audience.
I want more human on my screen. So he's doing this thing. He's basically down. He's like, what's the point? He's not enjoying it anymore. He's not sure. He's trying to remember a single moment with his current wife that he enjoyed. And it's like, okay, yes, you're being, it's so theater kid made adult. Like, was I ever happy? Let me look back. And so he goes to this first rehearsal and he gets there. And as he's coming up, there's a guy who kind of stops him in before he goes in to the rehearsal space. And he's introduced, I think he says he's the producer. And the producer's like, hey, you gotta, you're late, and the new guy's not gonna like it. And Templeton's like, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. The director is this person. He's like, no, he got sacked. He's too old. What? We got this new Wonder Boy. And then he mentions the name of the new guy, Arthur Willis. We got Arthur Willis, the Wonder Boy, in here, and he doesn't tolerate people being late. And so Templeton's like, what on earth is going on? So they have this kind of conversation back and forth, and then they go inside, and we see this scene of Arthur Willis talking to the rest of the cast and kind of lecturing them about how he's going to control everything and how it's going to be, he's going to dictate how everything's done. Everyone's going to have to listen to him. He's taking control, but he's doing it in a very kind of aggressive way. And he's laying out, the three most important days of a theater production. There are three most important days. There's the first day of rehearsal, there's the opening night and closing night. And he has his assistant or someone comes over and kind of whispers something in his ear. And he's like, well, call his house. And he doesn't realize that Templeton at that moment is actually in the theater, but he's kind of starts ranting about how Templeton needs to, everybody's got to be there. Nobody gets held above anyone else in the theater, which is, it's a good kind of level playing field for how you treat your actors and such. But he's ranting about it. And at some point, I can't remember how this transition happened because it was kind of a little confusing, but he sees that Templeton's there, and he starts calling him out, like, are you doing this? Are you in or out? Like, are you agreeing with this stuff? And Templeton's just so taken aback by all these changes all of a sudden. He's like, I've never been treated with this kind of level of disrespect, and like he just seems off put by it. And he's like, okay, he doesn't say anything, but he just kind of leaves, right? He gets a little overwhelmed, kind of dazed, and then leaves through the back door as he just came in, and the director's kind of yelling after him, and the producer's like, hey, you can't get out of here. And he opens the back door, and it's like a crowd welcoming him after a show, like all his adoring fans, like applauding for him, and it's a bunch of people in suits and stuff, and he's like, what's going on? And it's gone from daytime to nighttime and all this kind of weird stuff, and he's kind of taking it all in, and then he just kind of walks down amongst them like, okay, yeah, this is okay, yeah, thank you, accepting their praise. And as people start to dissipate, he goes to walk towards what he thinks is the car that's going to take him home because he's confused again. But the car drives off, and he's like, what is going on, right? So the people kind of dissipate, and he starts looking around and sees that there's a promotional poster for the show he was in is The Angry Lovers, the present day. And now he's seeing a poster for The Great Seed, which I don't know. These titles are...
He's this is his big break role too. It says introducing, right?
I think so. Yeah. So it's like a big deal, and he starts recognizing like the names, but it says the greatest hit in 1927. And he's like, 1927. He does that very like calls it out very much. And there's a couple of scenes where this happens. But what's cool about this episode I really liked was, as we see later, there's a lot of subtlety in this episode that I think there's subtlety for the people who got the theater part of it. And there's some real clear spelling out of certain scenes to try and make it clear to everyone else. And so he seems like he's like, okay. And he's taking this all in. 1927, he's in his first show. He's like, Barney Fluger is the director. And he's like, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. And some guy comes up and is like, hey, your wife's waiting for you, at the speakeasy. And he's like, she's dead. She's been dead for years. And he's like, well, she's the most beautiful ghost I've ever seen. He's like, no offense, of course. He's like, no, So he's like, she's at the speakeasy around the corner. And so, again, another, prohibition reference at the speakeasy, because it's all alcohol is illegal. So he goes around the corner. They get through the first entrance. He gets led into the secret entrance, and it's a huge speakeasy bar going. There's music going crazy. There's smoke everywhere, and people are drinking and having a great time. People are in those flapper outfits that you always see in the 20s, which, if you ever seen the newsreel of people doing like dances from the 20s, the Charleston or whatever, where they're just wailing their arms around all over the place, I always used to see it and go, why are they playing that in fast motion, like sped up, which I think they often are.
A little bit, yeah.
But when you see, like, in a moment, we see his first wife, Laura, dance like that. And you're like, whoa, she's just flailing everywhere. But she looks like she's having a great time. So
it's from all that bad booze.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just people got to let off steam
Freddy's
somehow.
slinging poison.
Freddy's bar. So he gets in there and he walks up and he's looking around, and the guy, the bar owner, kind of introduces, like, oh yeah, what are you having tonight? What do you what's your thing? And he's like, what chops, or what do you say?
Kansas City. I remember her
steak or chops. Yeah, steak or chops.
And she was talking about, she says the Kansas City's juicy tonight. I'm like, what the fuck is the Kansas City?
Right. So a Kansas City steak, I think I think that was like a certain, I think they're certain, I don't know, maybe that was a kind of beef or a way to prepare it or something, but
it looked good. I don't care what it was. It looked like shredded meat, and I was on board.
So he comes in and he's basically asking, what do you want to eat tonight? And he's like, I'm not hungry. I'm just looking for Laura. And so he goes and he finds her, and he's like, oh my God, it's you, and he sees her at a table talking to another guy, younger guy. And we find out later is Barney, his former director. And he's like,
there's
you're
a Fred
both
and
alive.
Barney in this scene.
You're Fred.
Just occurred to me.
Hey, there, Fred.
What do you know?
It's good stuff. Hey, Bon.
My dad was named Fred, and he bowled with a guy named Barney. No joke.
That's really?
Yeah. Sorry about that noise.
Were they members of the Order of the Water Buffaloes?
No, not that far, but they were in a league.
For the younger people here, that these are all references to the Flintstones. So,
that's right.
Yeah,
it's more than a vitamin.
Exactly. There, if you're a Flintstone kid, you know more than just the vitamin. It's also that it's all the stuff that went with the TV show. I'm going to pause my robot from going and starting a bunch of noise in the background here.
I just had to do the same thing.
Man,
we all have robots now. Think about
everything
that.
Kicks off. Yeah, right.
If Rod Serling could just peek into the future he's like, I wonder what people are saying about my show in 2025. And we're like, let me pause my robot. He makes a lot of noise. His mind would just be like, an eyeball would fly out.
With a cigarette on the eyeball or something. Yeah. Can't stop smoking. Okay, so back to Laura and Barney are at this table, and they look like they're getting along real well, if you know what I mean. Like they're really enjoying themselves and having a great time. And she's kind of sees him there, but she sees Templeton there. But she's like, take off your makeup. And he's like, my makeup, you know. And I kept waiting for him to look in a mirror and see himself younger, but I think they intended for him to be old, right?
Yeah. So she
And
thinks he's
so
in stage makeup for the role he's playing as an older man.
right. So you see this, and then he's like, but I just want to, can we go somewhere else quiet? And she's like, why would we do that? You know? And he's like, because you think of it like when you were younger, you're like, yeah, this is great. It's crazy. Where things are going, whatever. And he's like, I just want to talk to you. And she's like, don't be dull. It's like, wow. So kind of like she's like rebuffing him, as it were. And so she's like having time, and he's kind of distraught because obviously this is this woman he was totally in love with, and she's not lining up with his memory of her. And like he keeps wanting to like engage with her and talk with her, and she wants to dance, she wants to drink, she wants to eat the juicy Kansas City steak. And so this goes on, and he keeps trying to plead with her to be like, can we just talk? Like, can we just go? I want to spend time with you alone. She's like, no, like I want to dance. I want to do this. And I kept thinking, oh, is this, maybe it's that she's, he doesn't remember it right, you know? And I think that was the idea behind it, was that that he's not remembering that she actually was just a party girl who just wanted to do with whoever. And the looks between her and Barney are like, ooh, is there something going on there? Like, is there something that he wasn't aware of?
It reads as cuckolding, like the same way the beginning does, but the truth of the matter is it's coming from a good place.
Yeah, so this is really interesting.
Second twist, second move.
Yeah. So you see all this happen, and then he's actually at the point where he's physically trying to pick her up and get her out of there, and she wants to dance, and so she does that crazy, like the flapper dancing, and she really just moving fast, like it was crazy intense, this dance. And then it's weird to see like people actually like acting out what they kind of used to do then with and Barney's like looking up the tops of his eyelids as his head bowed down, he's clapping his hands. It's just like, yeah, man, cool. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird to see that like live. And then Templeton keeps trying to pull her out, and she finally just like slaps him across the face. And she's like, we don't want you here. You leave.
She Harry and the Hendersons him.
Yeah. We don't want you anymore.
Poor Harry.
So she smacks him, and he runs out, and he's so distraught. And the moment the door closes behind him, something crazy happens. The whole bar stops and everything goes silent. And all the people who were in the bar look towards the door where Barney was, and the whole mood of the scene changes, and it looks very much like a theater production all of a sudden, because the lighting, you can see kind of the distance, and they change the lighting, and then there's like a darkness at the back of it, and the faces have all kind of fallen, and especially Laura and Barney, their faces fall to kind of like almost like a sadness, and Laura steps forward, and she just looks really kind of sad and distraught. And it's very much theatrical, where they do a spotlight on her, and then that fades out as well. And it's bizarre because it goes from this wild atmosphere to just no sound. And you can hear they just silenced everything on the set.
Very spooky.
And yeah, it was like, what was that? It reminded me of a twist you'd see in a movie these days that's like, wait, what? Where you're kind of like, what just happened? So he runs away, and Templeton runs away and runs back to the theater and goes back in and closed the door behind him. And he sees the producer and the young Wonder Boy, Arthur Willis, having a conversation. And he's like exhausted, and he's like fanning himself because it was really hot. And he's got his script that was on the table that Laura had at one point, and he had gotten it into his pocket, and he was fanning himself with it. And then he's like, did that even happen? What is going on? He's just so muddled up. And he looks at the script, and the title of the script is what to do when Booth comes back. And he's like, what? And he starts reading through it. And it's the whole scene. It's everything that happened when he went to the bar. It's like he's reading, oh, hey, old boy, which is exactly what Barney said to him. And then he's like, flips, reads it. We don't want you here, right? And he's like, what on earth? And he's thinking about it for a second and realizes that he went back there and they intentionally did that to him so he would let go of that past. He was rejected by them in that so that he would not have the same nostalgic feelings about the past. And it was intentional. And so while he didn't see them all kind of freeze, he gets this vibe later of like, oh, they did that so that I would stop, living in the past, that I wouldn't be so nostalgic, that I would move back towards the future and accept where I am now in my life.
Yeah, this picks up. It goes from being very sad to being really inspirational.
Yeah, like sadly beautiful too, right?
Yeah.
Because they rejected him. They went through all these motions to make him re-engage with his current life. Like, go on, move on.
Yeah.
You know, and he gets all of that in that moment. And so, as he kind of stands himself up, the director turns around, Arthur Willis, and is like, "All right, well, you know, Templeton, are you in or are you out?" And Templeton walks over and says, "I am most definitely in, and it's Mr. Templeton."
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you that he says, Freddy starts out by saying, I've had a most amazing experience, and I don't expect you to understand it, but I will share it with you someday. And then he says, and I agree with you that the first day of rehearsal is the most important. And then he goes and he acts very much the lead of introducing himself to the rest of the cast and like engaging with them. And the producer's like, you can't talk to him like that. And he says to the producer, I insist that when we are in rehearsal, that no one who is not in the cast should be in the area, present in the environment. You need to leave. And the producer's like, you can't talk to me like that. And the director's like, go, leave. He's like, okay, Mr. Templeton. So he right away, like he takes that lead. He hears him and he starts referring to him as Mr. Templeton, and they re-engage, and that's the end of it. And then we hear the voiceover. Mr. Booth Templeton, who shared with most human beings the hunger to recapture the past moments, the ones that soften with the years. But in this case, the characters of his past blocked him out and sent him back to his own time, which is where we find him now. Mr. Booth Templeton, who had a round-trip ticket into the Twilight Zone.
Nice. This one I think I've seen a lot, and like when I started watching, I was like, God, it's all so from every moment. And again, the juicy Kansas City always stands out. To
Yes,
me.
yeah,
it's a weird moment, but this episode, I almost remembered it as like two separate episodes because of that second twist. But there's another personal connection I have, is that I scored a radio drama that was pretty much this story, but I don't think the writer knew how similar it was. I never said anything to him either. I just,
oh, really?
Yeah, I was writing the music and I was like, oh, this is the fucking speakeasy scene from Twilight Zone. It's Freddy's speakeasy. And
wow.
I don't know if it was just in his subconscious, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's a great theme to riff on, but it was funny how similar it was in the end, but I don't think he did it on purpose at all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it was about that scene with the steak that where she's like, have you had the Kansas City? It's so juicy. And she's like chewing it up. And I'm like, why does that stand out in my head?
They made her eat on camera. Don't you think that's part of it? Is like, she's actually eating something and
you don't actually see that normally. Yeah.
It's awkward as shit. The Kansas City is juicy, and then she has to act like it's squirting out of her mouth uncontrollably because it's so juicy.
She had a kind of who is the actor who was in $1 Million Baby who played the boxer?
Oh yeah, she's on Yellow Jackets now. Won an Academy Award for Boys Don't Cry. Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank.
I started saying Hilary
kind
Duff. Of way wrong.
very different than Hillary. Yeah. She has that kind of a look to her, and it's wild because at first you're very much like, wow, no, she's not a great, or she's not, this whole dedicated. They're not deeply in love. You're like, oh, she's just a party gal, and he just misunderstood. Oh, I get where this episode's going. He's going to reflect and go, it was terrible, and then you see her later, and she just does that one moment, and it's probably not even 10 seconds where the whole room goes quiet and you see her kind of there and step forward. It's just like, whoa, it really took my breath away, and it was stunning, and did a really great job of showing that that theatrical piece of what was actually happening. To me, that's the subtlety of it. It's like, once you really think about what's happening in reality, and then they actually say it, oh, they were doing this, so I would let go. It's like, oh, yeah.
Joe, too, this works as the kind of flip side of A Stop at Willoughby, where it's literally a guy lets his life cease to live in the past. And this is saying that was never the right answer, really. You know, like that you can't live in nostalgia and that it can be poisonous.
Yeah. Well, and the sad part to me is, so by the fact that they did do this, it was that good. It was that beautiful. They were that in love. It's like, oh God, that's even worse.
Yeah, because apparently in the Twilight Zone, you can just go live in your own past if you wanted to, right? So it's not like it wasn't a realistic option, because it does happen. Yeah. He just doesn't know it. He's new to the Twilight Zone. But his deceased wife has been there for quite some time
with Barney, and maybe they're hooking up. Who knows? Why not? It's
could be
have some fun.
Her and Freddy and Barney, all of them.
Barney. I don't know. Maybe they're enjoying it, but why not? When you can dance like that and fling your limbs around,
why not?
Yeah. So next week we will experience a most unusual camera.
You know what? This one's one of the ones I'm like, when it starts, I'm always like, oh, most unusual cameras. Okay, it's a kind of a joke episode a little bit. But then this time I sat and thought about it again. I was like, that's a really fun episode of the show.
I watched ahead and I hadn't seen this one that I remembered before.
Yeah.
And it's got some moments in it where, like, okay, so overall I would say I actually really enjoyed it. There are a couple of moments where it's like, okay, the acting is there's a lot of ham on stage right now, but or on screen, but there's some moments where the dialogue is just so good.
All right, we'll be back with that. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Freddie.
If you're a patron, thank you so much for your support. If you're not a patron, maybe check it out, patreon.com/NOTLP.
Thanks, patrons.